Welcome to another video. Today's video, I'm gonna be starting to put some of the items back on my 67 Mustang, starting with the taillights back here. Stay tuned.
Music bed.
So for some of the items that I'm gonna be putting back on the car, which are gonna be like the door handles, tail lights, backup lights, pretty much all of the lights, some of the trim. Went ahead and got some items from CJ Pony Parts. Main part is this one right here. So this is the tail light bezel kit. Pretty much what happens is these chrome bezels have these long studs and they go all the way through the body and hold on to the tail light. So for the tail light, I already cleaned out the housing here because these were in good condition. I just cleaned it up. And then I did order this gaskets here from CJ Pony as well. I do have these taillights, which are, I guess, LED replacements. So they go in here. I'm gonna bolt them down with the factory screws. And I also got like this part here, which is the rear seal that goes in front of this, and this goes between the light and the body so no water can get it. I also ordered the little gaskets for the door. We'll see how those fit. These are little gaskets for the backup lights, for the lens. I also ordered the actual gasket for the housing to the body, bumper brackets, and a couple other things here. So these are some of the little door bump stops and hood. This is for the door. This is for the hood. And I don't have a factory hood, but I still order these. This is the little kind of washers and nuts for the backup lights. I ordered a little gasket for the door lock cylinders. And the little bushings for the bumper brackets to body. So all that stuff came from CJ Pony. Pretty much anything you can think of for your classic Mustang and even newer Mustangs, you can get it from them. So check them out. I think we'll probably put a link in the description if you want to check them out. You need anything for your Mustang back. Let's get started. So I'm just gonna mount this here to the housing, like I mentioned. Open this up, bolt it down, and then we'll head to the back and see if we can bolt it to the car. Okay. So got the gasket right on here. And again, I did clean these trays. I cleaned up the screws as well. Gonna open up the new tail lights here. Now these are gonna pretty much plug in the same way as the factory ones. So I'm just gonna put that plug through the hole here on the back. And then just lay this out right on top. Make sure you do it right so you see the tray, it's different shape, same as the tail light. So this one would have to go this way. And then I'm just gonna put the screws there where they're supposed to go. And these are gonna be kinda, so the gasket is so there's no moisture getting behind the taillight. And then the rubber that goes on front is so that there's no water getting in the trunk of the car from the taillight. Assemblies, and just gonna tighten these up. Be aware these little pieces on the back where it threads, sometimes they spin. So you can hold them even just with your finger just to tighten it up, or you can get some pliers on there and hold it. These don't have to be crazy tight. You don't want to crack the plastic. Okay, so I'm just gonna go around, give them all a little turn, just make sure they're evenly tight. Again, you don't have to go super crazy on that. And then I'm gonna grab this big seal. And then this one, same thing, you're gonna match it with the back, right? And you want this pieces to be towards the front, because you want this whole rubber to go into the tail light like this. And so that's pretty much ready. Go install in the car. So let's go put them over here. Now I don't have those trim pieces yet, so I can't hold it. But what I'm gonna do is take the regular light bulb off. Plug it in. Okay, so to bolt down the taillight to the body of the car, now you have to use the trim rings. So this is what these are, and pretty much what you do with these, I did get new ones just because the old ones were really pitted. And I mean, this one's you see right from the back, but they do come with the new studs, so just thread the studs right in. They didn't come with the new nuts, so I did have some. I am short one, so I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store and get the right size nuts. Just make sure you get the right size thread so you don't strip the bolts. This will be kind of easy if you get the nut stuck in here to break this little tab, and then you know you would have to get a whole new piece. So, so on this one here, what you're gonna hold it. What you're gonna do is you have to put it through these holes, and you'll find out when you're doing it, but if you do one, you won't be able to do the other one. So you have to kind of do them at the same time. And then remember, this part is wider, so you have to go in at the same time almost, and then get them in there right at the perfect, pretty much angle to get it all the way in. So it's gonna be hard to push it all the way in, but once you put the nut here, then you can actually pull it in with the nut. So I'm just gonna hold the whole housing back here. And then just line it up. And so again, if you don't do it even, it's not gonna go in all the way through. So just remember, you might have to pull the top. Get it in there. Kind of just have to play around with it a little bit. So like there, it's all the way through. So now I can just put this little nut here. And then that's gonna hold it. So it's not all the way flush. Once I put all three of them, I can tighten them down kind of evenly. And then as you tighten them up a little at a time, they will go flat. So just kind of take your time doing it. I'm gonna get the other two and then I'll show you what it looks like before I tighten it down. Okay, so I put the other one in. This one fit a little bit tighter. But again, like I said, you have to kind of work them in there. And then keep track of the seal. Like this one was kind of pushed out. You just have to push it in before you tighten it. This one, let's see, yep, fits a lot better than the other one. So just put it right in there. And then even though it fits kind of like this, a little bit sticking out, once you tighten it up, you know, do the top a little bit, the bottom, it's gonna all squish both of the rubber that's here on these and then the rubber behind the tail light. So I'm just gonna put the nut here, and I am missing one of the nuts, so I'm gonna have to not finish it up, but that's pretty simple to put those on. This is the other side, which I already did, and so you can see that one's all the way flat. I can actually still tighten it up slightly more, but what I'm gonna do is, you know, I tighten it up little at a time each one. I'm gonna let it sit here for about a day so that rubber's kind of, you know, it's compressed, and then I'll go back and tighten it up just a little bit more. I just don't want to strip, you know, the little studs or anything. And then by the time I get the other bolt for this one, same thing. So I'll tighten these up pretty much all around except this top one, and then I'll do one final tying down on those. But overall, pretty simple to put them on. I do remember the factory ones, they also had to be lined up, so it's not a, you know, tail light panel that's anything wrong. It's just you have to take your time with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and puncture the hole here to the sound deadening and get the brackets for the bumper, and that would be the next piece to install back here. Okay, so I have the bumper. So this bumper is brand new. I got it, I had bought another 67 Mustang a few years back, and actually came with a bunch of new parts. This is one of the pieces that was in there. So I got these brackets from CJ Pony Classics because I didn't realize that the brackets were separate. So these are the brackets that go in here somehow this way, and then I did have the new bolts that bolt this in here, and then this is going to be bolted to the back of the car over there. So I'm just gonna put these on there, tighten them down, and then I also order, these are the bushings that go in here. They're just like rubber insulators, that way you don't scratch the body of the car when you put this on there. Okay, so went ahead and put the bumper on back here. So the bolts are right under the taillight, one on each side of this bracket, and you just have to kind of bolt it down and tweak it a little bit. You can move it left to right slightly. Aftermarket bumpers, you know, they might not be the best, the brackets, but it fits pretty good. I do still need to tighten up these bezels, that's why they're sticking out further than the ones on the other side, but I need to get that other nut and finish that up. So I'm gonna go to the hardware store. I mean, it's looking a lot nicer now, complete from the back here. Nice and new chrome pieces. I still gotta do the backup lights. And that would be it for back here. So gonna get one more nut and finish that up. So the next part I'm gonna install is this backup light housings. So I am reusing the old ones on this one, and this is pretty much what the old piece looks like here. I'm gonna make some room here on the bench. So I just have a lot of my old parts that I have put in bags, and so I'm just gonna put this down here. But pretty much I got a new seal. This is the part that goes to the body. And then I got these new nuts. The other one is missing one. And they weren't too expensive anyway, so I just started getting new ones. They came in a little kit, but I did get these new seals. And the housing's not too bad, and that's why I decided instead of buying new ones, I mean, you know, try to save a little bit of money here. On certain things, I guess, but the other thing I got was this gasket that goes here, so that way water doesn't go in there. As you can see, this one's just old and brittle, completely cracked. So I'm just gonna get a screwdriver here just to get it loose. I did look for a new light bulb, but I don't have that specific size. I believe it's an 1142, which is a backup single filament bulb, but it's got two contacts, so it has both technically the ground and the power on the back side. So normally kind of looks like an 1157 light bulb, I guess. From the bottom, but it is a single filament. So, and actually, well, the other one was that. This one's 2057, which, man, I don't, interestingly enough, I don't think that should technically work. I have a little connector over there, so I'm gonna just go try it. So I guess technically it does work, but it's supposed to be an 1142 bulb in there. So once I go to the store, I'll get the correct bulb, because I don't have any others. And I guess I could do like a LED or something in there. So I may order just some LEDs. But I'm just gonna get some all-purpose cleaner and just clean this housing in here. Some of the dirt that had accumulated in there. But you can get these housings. They're about $45 each, which is not too pricey, but big picture, right? You got to think about, you know, I mean, I bought the paint, which was pretty pricey, and then I did get some of those seals, things like that. So, you know, things start adding up. So I mean, this isn't too bad. $45 each, that's almost $100 for the pair. But you just kind of start snowballing. And like I said, I mean, these ones are decent condition. As you can see here, you know, if I hit it with steel wool, it cleans up pretty good. It does have a little bit of pitting here at the bottom, which you really won't see that much. And really, I mean, pieces like these I can kind of easily replace in the future. I just Quite honestly, I don't think I will. I mean, just because they look okay. So. But you can see with some steel wool, you know, clean the inside. Looks pretty good. And I'm probably gonna get some LED bulbs. I believe for the car I still have to fix the backup switch on the transmission because it's an AOD now. So it's not the same switch like the C4 that was in there. But gonna clean the lens, so I'm just gonna also spray. Before I get too carried away, I'm gonna put some gloves on because the all-purpose cleaner, if you get it on your hands, it cracks them quite a bit. So I'm just gonna put this in my towel here, and then just gonna get a toothbrush and clean the housing. The other one was a lot dirtier. On the inside it had dirt built up. This one's not bad at all. Housing's not cracked or anything, so that's why. And you can buy just a little lens if you need that. There's different options, but overall, I mean, the lens is in good condition, so I didn't see a need for that at this time. And so this is the little gasket that goes in there. I ordered from CJ Pony. So you just place it in there. And this is gonna go this way on the car, so I'm just gonna make sure the Ford is towards the bottom. Not that it would make a big difference, but then just clean up the bolts a little bit. And tying up the screws. So, and I can just take this cover off once it's installed in the car, twist the light bulb out of there to take it out. So that's not a big deal. Some dirt on the back side, so I'm just gonna scrub it a little bit here. So that's it there. Now on the other one of the studs is missing, so I did buy some bolts. I can either probably use the bolt or just cut off the head and use the stud. This one's all in there, so makes it easier. Got the gasket here. And I haven't tried to put this on yet, but hopefully this fits okay. And really the old gasket wasn't bad. There's some paint overspray on it. They are a little bit harder because of the years out. So I guess technically I could have just reused those, but these are gonna seat a lot nicer because they're more pliable. and they don't have any paint overspray or anything, so it's pretty good there. And then once you position it, you can make sure it's right on in place. And then I'm just gonna take a couple of these and go install it. So let me go down to the car and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is the back here, your balance. There's a small hole here on the side that you put in your wire and your grommet. So this should be pretty straightforward. Like I said, I think the hardest part is just to get the seal to stay on the right spot there. Which is right in there, so and once your light's in there, there's not too much room to really get your hands in there, so just be patient. You have your leaf spring right in here, so and I think it would be hard to get a screw in here, so I probably will break cut the screw for the other side and just put a stud in the actual light, like factory. You just have to be creative of how you're able to put your hands in here. Because with not a lot of room, there's not really a lot of space to tighten up this little nuts, little bolts. So. All right, got one in there. Trying to get the second one in there. Maybe taking my glove off will work better here. Let's see. Okay, I started those by hand, so I'll still have to, I'll get a small screwdriver and make sure this seal is going all around. And then I'm gonna get a socket and just tighten it up. Okay, so they got the light installed. I just used this pick to kind of pull the seal all around, but that looks pretty good. It's nice and tight. And then right under here, you put the wire through the body. I did take this off because I have a new little vent here for the quarter. I'm gonna put that on there as well. And then I'm gonna hook up the lights here on the inside. One thing that I didn't care, I guess, too much about the paneless wire harness that I put is that while, you know, this backup light, like they do give you this part here that kind of plugs in there. The other side, they just left the wire in there. And they did give you the connections. There are, and I'll find them, but they're just individual. It's not like the actual plug like the car had. So that's the only thing. A lot of the plugs you just kind of, like for example, for your headlight switch, you don't get a whole plug that you plug into it. You actually individually plug each piece on there, which is no big deal. But if someone that's not aware of that goes and takes it off, I mean, unless you take a picture of where everything goes, you're gonna be in some trouble there. So I wish they would have included a pigtail with the direct connector where you can just splice. And I was gonna use my old pigtail for a lot of those pieces. It's just, you know, they were really old and brittle, and so I'm like, well, do I really want to spend the time to splice everything into this old pigtail that's pretty much gonna break every, you know, now next time I plug it in, it's probably gonna break. So then I decided not to do that, and I didn't want to buy a bunch of pigtails, but I guess you can buy them separately. I just wish they would have included them with the kit. So I'm gonna find a connector that goes into this, finish that up, and that's it here on the tail light. I'm gonna just install the other side, do the same thing, and then I'll put these panels back in there. Okay, so got all the tail lights installed, everything is tight, good to go. Finish tightening up this side of the little vessels on the outside. So another thing I did was just put in the end to the trunk light. So the paintless harness does have a trunk light already run. I did get a switch, and I modified my panel. I'll show you here in a little bit. And I don't have the lights or anything, but they're gonna be wired. I have the ground ready to go here. So whatever lights I end up, I was thinking of just putting something, you know, so when I open the trunk, if it's at night, I can just hit the switch here on the side and it lights up the trunk. Nothing really fancy, just, you know, if it is late, I can turn the light on here. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and put all the panels here back on the trunk. So it's just a little bit kind of like a puzzle. I just have to kind of slide them in place here and then put them through the holes. And then I have this little I don't know, what do you call them, castle nuts that just thread on the little studs I had put. There's a video on our channel, if you look through the history of me building this enclosure. If you like to maybe build something like this for your Mustang, it took a little bit of time, but not too bad, and it looks pretty nice in my opinion anyways, right? it just hides all of this stuff. You can get like the little trunk mat and everything, but you end up, you see everything, all the harnesses and everything. And my plan, I know when, like high-end builders build nice show cars is, I wanted to just build some panels that would just hide everything, but also at the same time something I can build myself. So this was something I was able to build. Got some carpet. Yes, I guess possibly you lose a little bit of trunk space, but I already built the speaker box, which I also did a video on. If you want trunk space, then yeah, you probably don't want to build a big speaker box like I did. It's not even that big, just the trunk on these cars isn't that big anyways. But when you open the trunk, it just makes it all kind of uniform. So I just cut like a little rectangle here on this piece, and my switch is gonna just push in there. So it's just gonna be like that. When I do turn it on, it is gonna light on. So, if it is on, I should be able to see it. This one's a little hard to get on back here because of the nitrous bottle right now. Although I do need to pull this out, I am gonna paint it the color of the car here. Probably soon, because I did realize I didn't paint the mirrors for the car. I wanted to paint this, so I'll probably do all that together. But anyways, this piece back here, I just kind of have to bend it just a little bit to get it back there. I think that's how I got it off. You know what? Let me grab a 1/2" ratchet and just take that off. I know I was able to pull it out, but I also don't want to crack it or anything. So. And actually, I could probably just slide the nitrous bottle down so it's more out of the way, but in reality, once those panels are in there, they're, I don't need to be moving them. It's not like I'm gonna have to take them off or anything unless I'm doing some work to the taillights or something. So this should make it easier here. The other thing is I have the connectors here on the back, so I have to plug these in real quick. And obviously once I have lights, I will wire the lights up to the switch, so I didn't want to Okay. I think I forgot how to put this on. Okay, so what I forgot is that this panel actually goes behind this panel that's here. I don't know if the camera catches it, but this little panel goes on top. So I have to push this one back there. That's actually how it fits. So I think even with the nitrous bottle, if I would have kind of figured that out, I could have put it on there, no problem. So I was trying to just put it on in front, which it won't fit. There we go. So just so you see what I mean, this panel is supposed to go behind this one. And earlier I was trying to put it here, which it would have been way too big. So once I get this little studs on here, and then there's that little switch right at the corner, so that works out. Just gotta get the little nuts, put it all back together, and I have to vacuum this back here. It's been getting dust from sanding the car and a bunch of stuff. So same with this one back here. I have to push it behind, and it actually fits just hard to get at the little studs, but once you get them in there, they go through, and then you just tighten it up. Again, these aren't things that you're going to be taking off all the time. They're just covers. So cut that all back, and I'm just gonna push this thing back. Whenever I'm gonna be ready to paint it, I'll take it off all the way. I don't want to do that right now. So okay. So there we are. Tail lights all done. Pretty much all the lights back here. I just need the license plate light, which I have to order, and then the trunk is all back together, so I can actually move to the front. So up here up front, I'm going to be working on putting the lights. I've already put the headlights back on, but I'll put the other little lights back on. I have to find a way or figure out how to mount them and then wire them up, so I'm gonna get to work on that next. Okay, I went ahead and installed the lights and fog lights, so hopefully I did all that wiring correctly. So if I turn my parking lights on, there should be the top, so that would be on. And if I turn signals, now I'm gonna turn my hazards, but this would be if my turn signals were on, then it should be the bottom and the ones around the light. There we are. And then with the lights on, all my lights should be on. And this is the low beam, so I wired them up to the low beam, so fog lights will be on. I did leave these two wires here, which is ground and high beam, ready, because I think I am gonna end up putting the fog lights here on the bottom. So, but once I buy them and stuff, they'll be, the wires are here ready, that way I don't have to cut into the rest of this here. So that's pretty much it for wiring and getting this thing not ready, but pretty much where I can go back to driving it. So what really is next is I was looking online and I was gonna order some grill material here, so something that I can put in this opening. Obviously, you know, I don't want to have it just open. As you can see, there's already some bugs on the radiator. Plus, you don't want to see all that stuff, so something that would look kind of nice. I looked at some stuff that looked pretty cool. I'll have to see which one I go for. And then same down here at the bottom, I'll use that same grill material and put it here. And I think these are about 5-inch fog lights that you can put in here. It's the kind of like the big round ones. So when I get the grill material, I'll see if I can find some fog lights, get them, and I'll probably incorporate bolting them down into the grill maybe, unless, you know, they have a bracket that bolts downwards, then I'll put them there. But that'll be it. And then eventually I want to buy some ABS plastic, like how I did the front splitter on the Saline, and I just want to put some on the bottom just to kind of, I don't know, I think it would look kind of nice. I don't want it sticking out a lot, but just a little bit. But if I do buy a sheet of that, then I want to build something here where maybe it goes right underneath here, but it covers pretty much from the grill back to here. Maybe the level here of where the hood pins are, just kind of across, and then all the way to the grill, so it covers, so when you open the hood you really can't see. And that's not a big deal to me. I don't mind. I mean, the wiring is pretty nicely down back here, but that's kind of what I was thinking the next thing to be to do. So I think that's it for this video. I'm not sure what else I'm gonna kind of work on this car. Finally got it painted, so now I can kind of go back to driving a little bit. I do still have to build the reinforcement kind of metal behind the front bumper, and there's little brackets that go from like the fender to the inside of the frame to kind of keep it from shaking too much, but that's going to be later on. So I did notice also, I think I replaced the other valve cover gasket. I'm going to put a new one on this side just to be sure. I do see a little oil residue, so I'm just going to do that next. But that's it. Once I get ready to paint these, I'm gonna install the mirrors and a few other things, but I probably won't paint for a little bit. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments on anything on the episode, leave them below. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.